Epic Boobs, this show's about stuff. I feel like vaginas are a little bit like sushi in the sense that
it's an acquired taste.
If you get good sushi, you're like, oh my god, that's a good sushi.
Yeah, if you get
but if you get bad sushi, you're like, this is the worst sushi I ever had in my life.
I think that's accurate.
So, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Bienvenue, if you will, to Monday edition of Epic Boobs. I'm Luke.
I'm Paul.
Rodriguez.
And Julio.
Spanish side of the table over there.
You know, I don't mind having two new hosts every week. It's nice. It's nice. It changes the show up.
And we're trying to like appeal to a broader mass of
and
viewership.
I don't have to worry about like Dom and Nick being on the show because those guys are boners.
They smell too.
So, I hope everybody had a good weekend, and it was mine and Nick's birthday over the weekend. Paul's birthday's coming up.
Yeah,
lots of celebrations.
Later in the year.
Wow. Yeah, way later in the year.
So you guys are just going to be jealous when I get that stripper pole installed, which is accidentally a fireman's pole, and I'm having fun all day.
That's a crazy birthday wish. I want that.
That's good.
Too bad I gotta wait till 31 now.
Yep.
Aww.
Yeah, I gotta wait till 26. Whoops.
Oh, this kid's young.
Snap, he's
shit.
aging backwards. Dom is Benjamin Button.
Oh shit.
The shit I've seen.
Oh, man. This is gonna be an old man baby with a sweet stash.
Yes, he is.
So on today's show, we're actually gonna cover some pretty interesting news. You know, ever since the internet age has pretty much dominated our lives, you know, downloading music, downloading movies, illegally or not, has been a big point of contention for a lot of people. And the other day, Francis Ford Coppola did an interview with the 99, where he said maybe downloaders are right. You know,
true.
I got the quote here, and I'll just read a little summation of it. You know, you have to remember it's only 100 years that artists were working with money. Artists never got money. They had a patron or a duke, you know, or the church or something that would pay for their stuff, and they had another job. You know, I'm gonna be shot for saying this, but who said art has to cost money, and therefore, who said artists have to make money?
Yeah.
Ouch.
It's rough.
But. Well, you know, his whole thing is that he says he has a real job, which is making wine. And
yes, his winery.
And then, you know, his art is directing movies like Jake.
Now, had he not gotten those major movies that made him millions of dollars, would he be making wine right now?
Well,
partially.
Here's one of the things he says. You know, if in other portions of the interview he talks about how, like, you know, he had to make The Godfather. You know, but his mantra has always been, make movies you want to make, distribute them, and then shoot them in the best possible equipment you can. Now, obviously, something with The Godfather was not his original idea.
No, he had like
but
a
working
picture deal
on
and
that
stuff.
and working on something like you know, Apocalypse Now gave him the notoriety and the money with which he could do his winery stuff. And then now he really does just make movies he wants to make.
Yeah, his last couple of movies.
Nobody tells him what to do.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have to go to anybody to be like, I want to make this movie. He's just like, yeah, I'm making this movie, not a big deal.
Yeah.
And like through that, he's got like a pretty good like distribution process on his own. Like he like produces his daughter's films, and now Roman Coppola produces his films as well. It's cool, man. It's a cool thing. It's a cool way to do things.
You know, I think for him it works, but what you have to realize is that like 100 years ago, the entertainment industry wasn't an industry as it is today.
That's true too.
Yeah. It's like a lot of money's made here because there's this is what people want. People want entertainment. That's why people are watching this show right now.
You know, he raises a good point too. He talks about you know, composers like 200 years ago. When you compose stuff, you didn't get royalties. There was no money for that stuff. The only way to make money on that was to write something and then go on tour.
Yeah.
You know, like you had to go around and then be the conductor for that.
What's really interesting is that you look back to when musicians started making a lot of money, like the Elvises and the and you know, Buddy Holly and stuff like that, and they all toured together. They're like, you look back at these shows that like these record labels had tours for, and you're like, holy shit, that's like an amazing show. Whereas today, where it's like, you know, you get a deal, you get money up front, and then you do a tour and you make money off that. So it's like it's such a bigger process now.
Well, now there's more middlemen, and like I think what he's saying is really cool and everything, and I think a lot of people are going to cling to it, especially a lot of people that just steal stuff because they just want to steal stuff.
Right.
And they're going to be like, look, he says it's okay, so it's okay. But something that's nice about it is, like, with touring, you support a band when you go to see them on tour. You know, you go and you give them money, and it's nearly all directly in their pocket. There's other people that make money off of it, but that's where a lot of their money comes from. Buying a record off from a band never really supports them. It supports the record label, which is just a bunch of middlemen who are like, hey, we're going to, you know,
unless they're a
take
band
money.
that has like their own label.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, like, that record is like a form of advertising for your show. So it's like these things that like feed into each other.
Right, but I mean, there's also playing shows as a form of advertising for your shows.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
And putting stuff for free online, which a lot of bands do now,
Yeah.
because they know that if they just put their music out there and people like it, they're going to come see them and pay them by seeing them live.
Right.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show you, like, everything is changing. Like, the shows that I saw as a kid are never going to happen again. Like, this one time I went to a show, and it was Led Zeppelin, The Beatles, Leonardo da Vinci, and Megadeth. Whoa! All in one bill. But nobody's ever going to see that again.
Family Values,
Family Values 99, dude.
man.
It was sweet.
Yo, Leo, I heard he ate a frog on stage.
Dude, he didn't come out. He just, like, he was supposed to come on first, but he didn't come out.
Yeah.
And then so Megadeth went on first. And then he's like, fuck it. I got to go out there now. I got to go out there. I got to trump Dave Mustaine. It happened.
One of the things, not to like take away from the humor that we're spitting about now, but like one of the things that I think really causes the problem is who says this is what X has to cost. You know, like, why does a movie star get $20 million to be in a movie? You know, when it's not $20 million of you know, how do you quantify a person's skill set in art?
Yeah,
Right.
You know, it's usually not a measure of skill set. It's usually a matter of like their mass appeal,
and their box office draw. It's like, are you going to make me that $20 million plus back?
Right.
Absolutely. You know, and it's not like sports where like those guys do have exorbitant salaries. I'm not trying to like quantify the fact that some guys get $200 million, but if those guys get hurt, their careers are legitimately over and they have no more income because that is what they did. Whereas in acting, like, you know, if you get hurt, you just don't shoot a movie for a week and then, like you're back in action again, real soon. So it's interesting that the consumer actually determines what their salary is by how many things we'll go see, but also we don't affect their salary by how much we download because they still make the same amount of money.
Right. Yeah.
And everybody else is just like, why does it cost so much? Then it affects when we go see it at the movies, when we go buy a CD.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are going to get X no matter what.
Yeah.
Everything else trickles down beyond that.
Right. Well, they just haven't figured out a way to like quantify or monetize downloads. Like, who's to say like in 5 years it's going to be like, this download's brought to you by Yahoo. This download's brought to you by fucking Eggo Waffles. Yeah,
but I mean, well, that's what they start doing. Like, you're saying free downloads that are just sponsored.
Yeah,
I mean, that's very plausible.
Yeah,
that happens a lot though. I mean, like now, but not to the degree that I think you would like, because you know, you know, free music download from Dr. Pepper underneath every cap.
Right,
you know,
right.
And there's, you know, and I think, not to, you know, suck Apple's balls, but you know, they did a great job of reviving. A dying industry. When here's iTunes, it's 99 cents, get over it. Like,
exactly.
You know, sure, there's stuff that costs more, but
right.
Piracy won't be an issue for much longer now that Comcast and NBC are the same company.
They'll know.